Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Target 2021 Part 4 homework review. So this definitely goes with the Part 4 worksheet, and obviously follows along with the information we introduced in the Part 4 notes video key as well. And so, like I always say, this goes again with the Part 4 worksheet. So we're going to go through problem 1D, 2D, and 3B today. So let's just get to it. Now, remember, um, the entire part 4 of our notes packet dealt with what we call inscribed angle. And I'm going to use uh, this example over here, 1D, to try to show you what that is. Remember, an inscribed angle is any angle that is formed on the edge of our circle. And what we found was our angle that's on the edge of the circle is half of the arc it creates. And so if we look at this picture and we just follow this angle, one side of it goes to K, the other side goes to J. Everything that's in between K and J on the edge of the circle, we call that our intercepted arc. And remember, that's exactly what is always twice as big as what our angle is. The arc is twice as big as the angle. Or the angle is half of the arc, right? And kind of how you have to think about it dictates, are we going forward or backwards a little bit here? And so again, one more time, our arc, which is KL here, is twice as big as our angle. And so if we know our angle is 20, if the angle is 20, then our arc has to be twice as big as that. And so the measure of arc KL is going to equal just 20 times 2, which is 40 degrees. Perfect. And again, if we would have known the arc instead of the angle, then we would have divided by 2. But if we're working with the angle and creating the arc, we times by 2 because the arc has to be twice as big as what our angle was. All right, now 2D is talking about another concept that comes up within the same kind of skill set. And so if we look at like D, angle D, right? That's an angle on the edge of the circle. If I look to E and to H, right, that's kind of highlighting the edge of our 47-degree angle. That shows me that the arc in between those is this arc from E to H, right? But then if I look at my X angle, because X is also an angle on the edge of my circle, if I follow the sides of that angle, it brings me to E and H. And so the arc that angle X creates is everything in between E and H as well, which is actually the same arc, right? And so when two angles intercept the exact same arc, it just means that those two angles have to be equal to each other. In our packet, we said congruent. Remember, congruent means equal. And so the 47-degree angle and the X degree angle, because they intercept at the same arc, they need to be the same. And so X is simply just 47 degrees because it has to be the same as the other one. Now, lastly, remember we showed you two different pictures of angles that are created on the edge of the circle. And so here's one of them up in 1D. Here's our second kind of picture that we work with down here in 3B. Angle 2, you can see, goes from our diameter into our tangent line. Where those intersect is right here where I'm putting my dot, and that is an angle on the edge of the circle. And so what we need to do is find that angle measure. And just like in the picture up here in our first problem, anytime you have an angle on the edge of the circle, whether it's our first picture up top or our second picture down low, that angle is half of the arc that it creates. And so the arc that it creates in this picture goes from our diameter down to where our angle is starting, right? And so whatever our red arc equals, our green angle number 2 has to be half of that. Your arc is always twice as big as what your angle is. But we have no numbers anywhere on this diagram. However, we should always remember a line that goes through the middle of our circle and rests on each end of our circle. We call that our diameter. And so this is a diameter. And diameters cut our circle in half. And if our circle is 360 degrees in total, then half of it is 180 degrees. And so our angle, right, the angle is always half of the arc, or in other words, the arc is twice as big as the angle. Let's work with our angle. So the measure of angle 2, it's always half of our arc. Well, our arc is 180. We know that because it was created by a diameter. And so our angle will be 180 divided by 2. And 180 divided by 2 is just 90 degrees. And so we know the measure of angle 2 had to be 90 degrees. All right, I hope that helped. Hope that gives you a little bit of guidance. Keep working hard. Keep reaching out if you have any questions. And I will talk to you during the part 5 video later. Thank you very much.